This is Embody Safety with Eva, and today we will talk about how to feel at home in your own presence, but also in your relationships and your career. So you don't always have to feel like you need to become someone else or you need to become better to maintain and sustain your relationships or your career. Because one thing I notice with very capable and sensitive women is that they often mistake self awareness with self evaluation. They are used to looking at themselves through very harsh inner lens for such a long time that they don't notice how deeply it affects the way they show up in their relationships and also in their work or in their careers. So I want to talk a little bit about how this pattern shows up in our body, how it shows up in our nervous system somatically, and also the difference between self-attunement and self-evaluation. Because the way you show up in the relationship you have with yourself is going to impact every area of your life. So the signs that we are relating to ourselves through self-evaluation, or we are having very harsh and critical relationship with ourselves, is that often you, even as you wake up in the morning or as you start your day, you already feel like you are behind. Like you are behind on who you want to be, you are behind on what you want to create. And oftentimes this sense, because it is an inner feeling or an inner experience of almost like you are trying to catch up with life. You are trying to catch up with life, with your goals, with your desires. And there is this feeling of striving. I'm striving to become someone I want to be. I'm striving to reach the goals I set in my career, or I'm striving to show up as like the best version of myself. This is something you often hear in self-help or like self-improvement industries. We receive a lot of information about becoming the best version of ourselves. But in my experience with very capable, sensitive, self-aware women, they already possess so many amazing qualities, and they don't need to become better or improve themselves in the way that their nervous system is used to improving themselves or monitoring themselves. So the signs that this is going on inside of your body, that there is this self-evaluator, is that first, as I said, you feel behind. In usually in one or two areas, in particular, the areas that felt hard or elusive to you for a long time. And also another sign is that when you think about that area or you think about like becoming the best version of yourself, your system automatically goes to what isn't enough, like what needs fixing, what needs to improve. Maybe it's the way your body looks, maybe it's how you show up in relationships, and your system is already tracking for what is lacking, where am I not doing good enough, what needs improving. And it's not this like specific period of time where you go into, let's say, what you want to achieve or what are your goals. It's this underlying feeling, almost like life is about striving or life is about becoming better, and you feel that way. It's like that feeling is leaking into every area and the way you relate to yourself. Okay, so growth or growing doesn't mean that we need to be harsh on ourselves. And this is where a lot of high achieving, sensitive women have been conditioned to think in a way that in order to grow or in order to build a healthy relationship, I need to be harsh with myself. And this is something we want to start detangling today together. And then third sign I wanted to share today, that self-evaluator is present in your system, is that whenever you are with someone you love, whenever you are with your partner or your loved ones, you are always assessing, am I interesting enough? Am I attractive enough? Am I easy enough to love? And this, for most women I work with, is not conscious choice. It's how your nervous system learned to relate to itself, to others, and to life. Because in this case, when this harsh inner evaluator is coming up, it means that we learned when we were very young that in order to stay connected to other people or in order to receive support, that's why this tends to show up in your work as well, we need to be certain way. We need to be good, we need to be acceptable, we need to be helpful, we need to be easy to be around. And that's why that specific protector, in this case the harsh self-evaluator, is showing up and it's checking, am I being easy to be around? Am I being good enough? In some cases, am I being perfect? So that I can finally receive whatever it is that your system is longing to receive. Sometimes it's connection, sometimes it's love, sometimes it's support. And that's why there is this underlying feeling of striving, because your system, our system with this self-evaluator learned that I can have all those good things, all those things that I desire only once I have earned them. And that's not how healthy relationships work. And it's also not how you build supportive career for yourself. Because if you go into relationships with that feeling of I need to earn love or I need to earn connection, that's how we can end up in unhealthy relational dynamics. So I want you to see this old evaluator as like an old equation or old program that's running behind the scenes inside of your body, inside of your system. Um, and it's programmed to believe that if you get it right, that's like one part of the equation, then you will receive love or support or connection or even financial support and support in general in your work or in your career. So as I said, women I work with are already very capable, very thoughtful, kind, responsible. But that self-evaluator was conditioned to kind of like push those qualities away, or it's almost like they have these types of women have blindness to what they are bringing to the relationship, what they are bringing to their work, all those amazing qualities, the responsibility, thoughtfulness, kindness, empathy, the attention to detail, the attention to their work they bring. And the self-evaluator makes them focus only on what is lacking, what needs to be improved, even if they are usually in like 1% in their field, or they are very empowered relationship partners, but because their system is so used to connect through performance and self-assessment or self-monitoring that they literally cannot see how amazing they already are, and that's why they are usually drawn to a lot of, let's say, like self-development or self-improvement field in general. Um, because they believe that self-evaluator believes that if I finally get this right, if I change myself in the way I need to change, then I will get what I need. And what actually their system needs is to look at the old equation and see through that as the old conditioning. And then we start somatically. So through very gentle and supportive somatic practices, we start building kind, supportive inner companion in their system that over time replaces that self-evaluator. And building that supportive companion inside of your system, in your body. So this is not mindset work. Mindset work, it's not persuading yourself that you are enough or that you already have these qualities. It's building felt sense inside of your body of support, warmth, staying with yourself, even when you don't get things right the first time, or even when you make a mistake, even when you are tired. That's actually what this type of a woman needs most. It's having the experience of someone staying with them when they are imperfect, when they need help, when they are tired, so not always showing up positive or high vibe. And they need to experience the sensation of having compassion for those parts that need support the most. And through building that felt sense of feeling at home inside of your own body and with yourself, with your present adult self, through that, your nervous system regains the capacity to receive connection and love from your environment exactly as you are without waiting to become better or improved or perfect. Okay, so through nervous system lens, when we have deep desire for connection or healthy relationship or work where our gifts and skills are fully seen and appreciated, but at the same time we have that nervous self-protection, the self-evaluator coming up or showing up in our system, it creates almost like a standstill. It creates a position where I really, really, really want to go or move towards what I want. But at the same time, there is this part that learned to protect me that's always asking questions like, what if I don't get it right? What if I'm not enough yet? What if I'm not ready yet? And it's like two opposing forces pushing against each other. And that's when our nervous system gets stuck in a state of freeze. And it's oftentimes internally, it feels like invisible walls. You want to move towards something, but you get tired all the time. Or you want to move towards something, but then suddenly you get sick when you get this bigger opportunity at work. And it's because there is one part of you that really wants to move towards sharing your work or opening your heart, speaking up, taking the next step. But there is also that self-evaluator that's protecting you because what if I'm not good enough or acceptable exactly as I am? And in somatic work, we don't dismiss the evaluator because that's the place where most high achieving sensitive women learned to reside. That's how they learn to relate to the world, to themselves, to others. That voice that says, I should be further along, I need to do more, I have to get this right. That voice, that part of them, learn to protect them, often when there wasn't anyone else who would protect them. So that it's a very valuable part of our system. It's the intelligence of our system showing up and trying to protect us in counterintuitive way. But oftentimes it was the only protection or type of safety we had in the world that might have felt unstable or unpredictable. So in somatic work, we learn to work with that protector, and we build steadier and kinder inner presence that says, hey, I've got this now. You don't have to protect me that much. You don't have to protect me this much. Oftentimes I call this your adult self or healthy parent that is taking over these parts that learn to cope instead of relate in a healthy way. And as we build that steadier kind, the inner presence inside of your body, inside of your system, it slowly teaches your body that you are worthy of love and connection at all times. It is given. It is something that everyone gets to have. Everyone gets to be supported and loved without having to earn it. And this is where that old equation that was running the show it is now going to run into evidence or experiences where you meet yourself with compassion, you meet yourself with support, and slowly, that new reality is going to rewrite the old equation that was running on autopilot behind the scenes, because your system is going to feel a little bit safer every time that you meet yourself with kindness and with warmth and with support. And so the younger parts of us, or the way that our system was wired, the old way, it is going to question now, oh, I get to receive connection. Like, she stays with me, she supports me, even though I made that mistake, or even though I didn't get this perfectly right, or even though I was tired today at work, I was still appreciated, or I was still supported. Perhaps this is not how all relationships work, or how the world works. Maybe I get to receive support. I don't have to brace myself against receiving that support. And that new, kinder, steadier presence becomes part of the relationship with yourself. It becomes this cozy, warm feeling of home inside of your body that you take wherever you go. And when you wake up in the morning with this feeling of, oh, I get to be accepted exactly as I am, or I feel connected to myself even when I make a mistake or when I am tired. I still get to engage in life. I still get to engage in relationships. That's where your work or career becomes more about you creating and you sharing your skills instead of you trying to figure out how to get it right. There is really no right way. There is only the way that is right for you and that supports your unique system. And in relationships, it works the same way in healthy relationships. The connection and love and support is given because of who you are, who you already are, not because you always get things right. And I know this can be sometimes when we are operating from that self-evaluator, that's part of us. Sometimes when you hear me say this thing, it's like, how does this work? I never experienced that. And that's exactly when our system needs more evidence of healthy relationships and more evidence of how it feels when I stay with myself. I don't leave myself when I make mistakes. I don't punish myself for my mistakes, which the self-evaluator does, but the healthy kind inner presence, your healthy adult self doesn't do that. It offers support and guidance, and it respects your capacity. So if you would like support bringing this into your own life, relationships, and work, this is exactly what we are currently doing in the secure relating topic inside of the sanctuary. And through this topic, we are exploring how it feels to be your own kind, supportive companion instead of that harsh self-evaluator. So if you would like to join us, I will leave the link below. And as always, I appreciate you being here.